The thing I remember most, I'd be 5 year old and my family come down from the Collingwood area, Fitzroy area, maybe for health reason. And when we come down to live at Sandringham, I remember coming down the beach for the first time. And I remember it vividly that time, because the first time I ever seen the sea. And I always said to my mother, I see the sea and the sea sees me. Very many happy memories this area. This was our playground. When we were children, this was our playground. And I think my happiest days were when we used to make tin canoes. We make tin canoes out of sheet iron, 6x4. And nail wood and get the tar from the local council. Make double paddles and go fishing in our tin canoes. What an adventurous area it was, that's for sure. There's no wall here then. We used to go out fishing. Father caught me out there one day. When my friend Eric Hall and I came back, the following day, we heard that the axe was put through the canoes and that's on in the tea tree. So that finished our canoe adventures, but later on we made better ones. And we used to venture down to Red Bluff in our canoes. Nothing could stop us from the love of the beach. What changes most with me, the 3 sheds are still there now. Patata's shed is the end shed. They were very early fishermen. The father, he lived as a neighbour to us in Moore Street. And I don't think he wore shoes all his life. He was an old seaman and he used to sit under the gum tree on his bare feet. I remember that vividly. That's when I was around about 10. I took more notice of the public around me. And he lived with his son, Bill, just up in Moore Street. It had to be about number 4. And he went to China Rebellion, Uncle Bill. And inside the house, on the walls, were many articles taken from China, from his trip. And then the other brother, Joe, he lived round in Crew Street. They were the earliest family I know that ever come into Sandringham. They kept a horse, ice, and the fish was in wooden buckets. They'd put the fish on the train, take it by Jinka up to the station and been taken to the city. And the horse had its stable, and the old guy had a pet seagull in the yard. His name was Peter. It's quite a remarkable family. The youngest of the Batotos now alive, I know, is Leo Batoto. He's round in Fernhill Road. The daughter and I are going up to pay them a visit on Wednesday. The 3 sheds behind us now, the first shed was Potato's shed, the next shed belonged to Tatchell, and the shed next to Tatchell belonged to Delphinus. They were the Italian fishermen down here. They'd done quite a lot of fishing. Potatoes took parties out and fished too. Tatchell's, he hired the boat out. Tatchell was the grandfather of my eldest son. Yeah, of course they're all dead and gone now. And we used to enjoy taking the dinghies out when we were kids. We were also allowed to take the dinghies out under a bit of supervision, but once we hit the water outside, we were gone. We fished. And we were told how to row the boat, row standing up Neapolitan fashion. And there were set rules when we used the boats. If we went out in the boat, I remember the rules my father told me. If you go out fishing, there's motorboats outside you fish inside those boats. Why, Dad? You understand this? I said, yeah, but I'm asking you why. He said, if you get into trouble, a blow comes up, you know this boat's got to pass you to come back to the harbour. You're rowing a boat. Oh, good one. Go out in a boat. You fall out of a boat and you can't get back up, you're too weak or anything like that. You get your opponent, put your hands on the strands of the boat, which is the stern, and sit on them until you've got the strength to drag you out the water. Oh, thanks, Dad. He was full of ideas. If you go out in the north wind, you make sure you keep this harbour open. What do you mean by that? He used to say if you go out fishing, that means if it blows up a northerly or northwesterly, you've got a straight run home for the harbour. Don't go round the corner. That's go south. Always keep up north. No, mainly fishing folk. A few would walk their dogs this way. Not so many had dogs those days, but A few would be down here, not mainly fishermen, anglers and so forth. For sure, the 3 sheds. There's named sheds down at Half Moon Bay. The nearest to that would be here. Brighton was only just starting as a yacht club, but down here things were beginning very, very slowly. Well, I see it as Sandringham's best kept secret. Since I've been coming to the shed, I've seen international people come down here. When I say international people, I've seen Italian, Japanese, German. People come from overseas, sailboarding, they come down here sailboarding. There's a coffee shed there, and it's quite functional as far as the dogs and the residents go, because the walks to the shed, there's numerous of behind the shed. There's known marks out here. I know where the Sandringham anglers fish. They go out to what they call Chow's Reef. There's reefs around here named, and their names still hang. Anonymous Boy is due south of the harbour. That was a 20-minute row from the harbour, the end of the pier to there. And then there's the inner reef around the corner. There's inner reefs up what they call the gully between Sandringham and Brighton. These particular places are full of whiting and full of snapper on the season. Different ones in the early days would say, can you get me a few mussels or can you do this? They're quite friendly atmosphere. And there'd be nothing to come in from fishing and get half a bag of mussels, take them down the pub, give them to a couple of the boys and they'd start shelling eating them raw. Much to the disgust of the local licensee. But that was the most popular thing. When I was working, I used to fish on the Saturday morning, go home, have a couple of beers, have lunch, and then take my family to the beach in the afternoon. Yes, not my family. I used to go around what they call the swim beach, just around the corner, which is the most popular beach ever. Yes, I still row the boat. The doctor's given me good advice not to go out on my own, but I'm not defying him, but if the weather's suitable, I'll go out on my own. If it's a north wind, I take the boat up to the gully, which is up towards Hampton, fish whiting and come back with the northerly. Yeah, I've seen the changes. It's getting higher and bigger each day, mixed with the sand and slurry. I often look back and they're going to isolate the area, and they came in with their theology, what do you call it, their instrumentation to measure water, measure height, and do something with the harbour, which was a wall. And they took the wall down and put up a concrete wall with slabs. And it's all helping to hold the sea back. It locks in on this area where we are. And when they put those slabs in, there's about a 9-inch gap. Well, they become full of mussels, so they become one big concrete slab, which steers all the slurry straight into our harbour here. I often wonder, when I went up the pier, I see them doing measurements, and I tell them if they went over the Middle East, they'd find all the information they want over there, because they've had jetties and so forth put up over there, and they've been there since the days of Christ. I was entertaining and keeping. A couple of Japanese girls were staying with me at the time, and they were attending the local TAFE, and they stayed with me so they wouldn't have to get a bus, get the train from my place. And I had to drop all feelings. My daughters asked me would I take them in hand, so they come and joined me. And on the season, they had to come down with me, read on the beach. I was painting the boat at the time, and her name was Megumi. I was painting the boat and she said, no name on boat. I said, no name, Megumi. You have name? No. I have 3 daughters, they all fight over one girl. My name? I said, look, Megumi, let me get ahead with me painting. I went on home. When I came back, she must have gone down the street and got some red acrylic paint and a brush. And she wrote a name on the back of my boat.
In Japanese?
And I told her, please, just not your name, what about? So she wrote her name and another 2 Japanese girls that we had at the house, their names. So I've got 3 Japanese names on the end of the boat.